Hello, folks. What's going on? Welcome once again to your podcast, the podcast that was made for you, the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, where I have great-minded people that fresh creativity, people who are doing a lot in the community, bringing their brand, doing numerous things. People just like you. I want you one day on this show, so please share this content. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. You know how to do all that stuff. This is something that a lot of people are doing right now. So go ahead and show your support, man. I appreciate all the support, all the love. I've been getting a lot of people positive feedback, man, and it feels fabulous, fantastic. So today's Friday, as you know, it's the end of the week. Been a busy week for a lot of people, for myself as well, for my guests that's here today. So I just want you guys to know that a couple of things, just some quick announcements, real quick. As you know, go ahead and follow me on the YouTube channel. Just a couple announcements real quick. As you guys know, I'm going to be in the gun show. So if you guys already know the products that I have, I'm going to be in the gun show. You can visit my website, www.prokevlog.com right there. This is the tactical gun safety bag. So the gun show is going to be here in Central Florida next week, May and Saturday. All right. So I hope you could join me there if you're in the local area. Real quick as well, I have for you guys that watch us either through Facebook Live or YouTube or Instagram. But if you don't have time to watch the video, you'd like to hear the audio, there it is right there. You could download the audio download available on the anchor.com. It's a free app. It's also sponsored by Spotify. And it's also available on the Google Podcast. And I want to give a special shout out to a friend of mine. They've been after me saying, hey, when are you going to give us some promotions? So here it is. Some great people. If you're in the Orlando area and you're looking for a reliable used car, I have my friends at Cars Are Us and Services. And there's the phone number there. You could call them at 407-766-8561. And they're located right there, the address below 214 North Goldenrod Road here in Orlando, Florida. So once again, thank you for joining this podcast. Please share, comment if you have any questions, anything regarding the information that we're giving today. First of all, I'm extremely blessed and glad that this person accepted my invite, man. I've been following this guy from probably about 2017 that I seen him on YouTube. I ran into him into some of his content that he has. And then I looked him up on Facebook. And man, this guy is so creative, man. This guy is awesome, man. And not only is he awesome, video production, the work that he does, but he's a great human being. I don't know him on a personal level. I want to get to know him here, just like you guys. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. I hope you enjoy this episode number 4. Soon after this podcast is done with, I'm going to have the audio. I'll be sharing all the links like I normally do through my Facebook page, the business page, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and whatnot. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this show started. I'm so glad you guys are here to join me. So before I do, man, just to give you guys a little teaser, right? Just a little teaser of what we have in show today, what this guy does, man. This guy is magical. I consider him the MJ of video production. This guy's the GOAT, man. This guy's the greatest of all time in my words, because even though I don't know him on a personal level, but man, this guy has some talent, man. When talent, recognize talent, you know what I mean. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Fasten your seatbelts. We're going to enjoy this show, man. Hold on. Watch this real quick.
We do a lot of things.
There it is, man. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, man, Mr. Robert Syslo, JR Jr., man. How you doing, buddy?
JR, I'm good, man. How are you?
JR, I know, right? I'm doing good, brother. Man. Good to show. see you here on my show, man. Thank you again. It's a blessing, man. It's an honor. Know you're a busy guy, man. Thank you for accepting the invite. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good. It's been a busy, productive week. We got a lot of stuff going on as well, but it's been awesome. I mean, we just came off of our third highest month ever in sales in a row. So we're doing pretty good. We got a lot of good stuff happening. And that video, I still watch it, and I give myself goosebumps with my own stuff.
Bro, that's what I'm telling you, man. I said, I gotta do a video. I saw all your content, but now it's like, no, this is the video just because the
That's
music,
the one.
the adrenaline gets you going, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. Listen, so Robert, so you're over in South Florida right now, correct? That's the area you live?
Yes. I am in Miami, and I'm looking at crystal clear Caribbean ocean water right now. It's awesome.
Oh, man, you got some beautiful weather. I know Florida down here is hot, man. Over here, I'm in Orlando, man, and it is blazing, but at least you got the coast out there in the beach, so you get that little breeze, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, totally. It makes a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, how long you been living in down south there?
I've lived in Miami for about 8 years now.
Oh, really? Okay. All
Yeah,
right, so it's been a while.
Yeah, but I was born and raised in New Jersey, and
Okay.
I used to work in New York City. Then I moved to New Mexico, and then I moved to California, Los Angeles. Then I moved. Then I was in China for a little while.
Get out of here.
Then I was in Mexico, and then I was in the Caribbean, and then I landed in Miami, and that's where I've been for the last 8 years.
Man, they should call you Mr. International, man.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was a very interesting period of time. All that happened within a span of about 6 years or so. So, yeah.
Wow. That's good, man. Now I call this an icebreaker. I want to know a little bit more of your background. I mean, I know you were born in Jersey. Now, real quick question: is Syslo, does it come from the Italian name?
No, that's actually Polish and Ukrainian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're not Italian. Although somebody said I was Italian. I was like, I don't know where you got that from, but definitely we are. I am 100% Polish, Ukrainian, and Russian. That area right in there.
Wow. Okay. So I like to start with that the icebreaker, just to tell people, like, how was it growing up where you grew up, especially New Jersey? You were born in New Jersey. You went to school, I imagine. So what was it like growing up in that family nucleus? What were your parents like as far as like role models or?
I mean, it was interesting. We grew up, I would say, in upper middle class. My dad worked 2 jobs. My mom worked as well. And, it was a very interesting upbringing. I can't say that I had somebody to directly guide me on what to do in my life. I spent the majority of my life really confused, actually, probably up until about 24. But yeah, I mean, it was, I didn't have a really good upbringing. Like on the outside, we had 2 cars, we'd go on vacations, we had a huge house, we had a great big pool in the backyard, a lot of land. We lived up there in the Jersey Shore, went to Catholic high school. It looked great, but it was not good at all. Like I was always emotionally just kind of all over the place. My parents got divorced when I was 15, so I lost that kind of, father figure. I mean, a few things. I used to work with him, and I respected him for his hustle and his ability to just grind. Like the dude would be up at 3, drive 2 hours to Princeton, work all day, and then come home, not even come home, go right to do work till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. Like he had his own little electrical company.
Wow.
So I didn't understand what that was at the time. And, at that time, if I had known what I know now, I'd been like, why don't you just go hire like 4 or 5 people and build your own company and not drive 2 hours every morning and have to get up at 3, you do the same amount of work. But, so yeah, I didn't really have, high school was just a mess. Everything was really just a mess from about 15 onwards. I didn't really start getting stable until about 24, 25. And I went homeless when I was 24. That was crazy.
Well, wait a minute. You went homeless when you were 24?
Yeah. So about 8 years ago, I was, I wound up completely homeless, no money, no friends, no family. I was on the streets of Los Angeles, and I had come out of this really dark relationship where, there was no support for men who were going through an experience where a woman was kind of being abusive to you. I would call all these domestic abuse shelters, and a lot of them would laugh at you and just hang up the phone. So I was a mess. Anyway, so I got out of that, and then I went to the Caribbean. I linked up with a group down there to do some documentary filmmaking. And, it was interesting because they helped me kind of get a little stable, but then I wasn't getting paid. I was sleeping on hardwood floors in a third world country as an American with no money. And I remember one day I kind of lied about the fact that I was not feeling well. And I actually went downtown and I started to knock on all the international companies. I never did door knocking, and I was asking for work. This is in Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, third world country. I'm I stand out a lot there. Anyway, so
Yeah.
they're like, what are you doing? Like, you're an American. Why are you here? I'm like, I don't have work. I don't know. I don't have any way to get back to the United States. So I ended up they found out I did that, and then they fired me. So now I'm out in the street in a third world country, homeless again.
Wow.
And I went to the U.S. Embassy, and I'm like, okay, I need to get home. How does this work? And they said, well, we'll get you on a plane home. We'll give you $50 to wherever you want to go, and we'll take your passport, and that's it. And I was like, okay, that's not really viable, because I didn't have anything to go to. So luckily I did find a friend of mine had kind of like a Radio Shack type of a shop. And I just told the guy, I said, look, I said, pay me whatever you want. I just need money. Like, I'll just work. And I started doing this guy's promotion. I started building and designing all of his content for him on social media, started getting paid, and he helped me get back to Miami. So that's where I landed. And that's, so then the story didn't really turn the corner probably until about a year and a half after I got back to the US, because now I'm coming back to the United States. I don't have any money. I'm very much broke. And I felt like an immigrant coming to my own country because I had nothing.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I flew in on a flight. There's all these families. Everybody's happy. I landed in Fort Lauderdale and everybody's like, wee. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah.
So I ended up linking up with a friend, and the guy who got me back to the U.S. just paid me a very small allowance of $100 a week and helped me get a room, a bunk bed, I should say, in a hostel in South Beach. So I lived in a hostel in South Beach for about 8 months. It was a room with 6 other people, 1 bathroom.
Wow.
And man, was I depressed. It was very tough. But all the while, like, I was always trying to do film. I was always good at film. I was always good at editing. And I took a job at Banana Republic in Lincoln Road. And and I remember just being like, what am I doing? Like, I'm folding clothes. Like, at what point am I just going to turn the damn corner here?
That's that mindset.
So then I ended up looking on Craigslist of all places, and I found a job with where I worked with before. And that was pretty much the turning point. I became the top sales guy there, was one of the first people to close $1 million deal. Not even the owner had done it, and built an agency over the course of, 5.5 years to 12 million myself. And then I went out on my own 2 years ago, and now we have a multi-million-dollar ad agency. So there you go.
Yes.
I'm only 32. My birthday's next week. I'll be 33. So it's kind of
get
been
out of here.
a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happened in like the span of about 10 years or so.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's it for my audience. I mean, you're talking about 10 years ago. We're talking about what, 2010? I mean, we already had technology,
Yeah, 2010. And realistically, I mean, it only really took about 5 years to turn the whole situation, a little bit less than that, to turn everything around,
I mean, did you ever have it in your mind, like, okay, like you said, oh, well, what am I doing? But you're like, okay, should I quit or should I keep going?
I had a conversation with the guy who was helping me. I remember I was sitting there, I was really upset. And he said, look, you got 2 options. You can die or you can try to make things go right. Those are the 2 options that you have. Yep. And I didn't like it when he said it, but then I thought about it and I was like, he's right. Like, what else is there? What else is there really to do at this point? So I just started climbing and kind of put my own victim mentality, or whatever you want to call it, poor me, over there, because I realized I was the only one that was going to turn the situation around. And I did, So, and I don't take anything for granted. Like, I mean, I have a staff of 6, I have 2 cool cars. I've been able to travel. I've been able to do a lot. I've made more money last month than I've ever made in a single month. I mean, wow. It's crazy. And, but I learned about discipline and regimented structure. And that's all I do every day. I work on myself, and I work on my clients. That's it. And sell hard. That's it.
That's cool. And see, that's cool. I mean, being that you didn't have that father figure, and the early age and whatnot, look at your story. That's amazing, man. You got to write a book someday. I don't know if you're gonna write a book.
I will. I'm waiting to see where this goes.
You got to, brother. You got to put that book out there because such a young age. I mean, you hear a lot of stories that people are struggling, especially actors. A lot of famous people, but probably like in the 80s and 90s. But you're talking about, recently 8-10 years ago. That's something crazy, man.
Yeah, Facebook does a wonderful job of reminding me. It's like, here's a picture of you from 8 years ago. I'm like,
yeah,
thank you. I appreciate it.
I got out of there, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was. It definitely came back to just having the discipline and I would say a belief that I could make things go right. So whenever anything difficult happens, or like we had COVID last year, everybody freaked out. I was like, bro, I've been homeless before and nothing. Like, what's the worst that could happen at this point?
Right.
So, and we actually had, it was.
How did you handle with the pandemic? How did that?
Well, it was interesting because I only had about 4. So when I left my other job, I had a 1-year non-compete, right? So I couldn't do what I wanted to do for about a year. That was really tough. But when I was able to actually do what I wanted, we exploded. And I had about 4 good months of everything working, and then COVID hit. So March was our lowest month. But then what happened is we started on an upward trend. We actually kept doing highest month ever for 5 months in a row after that. And I think what I attributed that to is I watched big people, I watched small people, I watched mentors, I watched entrepreneurs that were all over the place retract and freak out. And at first I started to get sucked into it. And I was just like, okay, well, if these guys are doing it, I mean, I don't even have half of what they have or 25% of what they have. What does that mean for me? And so all I did was I just turned everything off, and I just was like willing to burn down the ship. So I spent a lot of money on advertising. I turned up my call volume. I delivered more service, and I just kept doing that. And that really resulted in our expansion. So I don't buy into I really don't listen to anyone, to be honest with you. I don't listen to anybody. I don't take advice from anybody. There's a few people I take advice from that I trust implicitly. But I really try to make my own decisions based on what I know and what I've observed.
Absolutely.
So that's how I handled it, and we've been fine.
That's awesome. I'm the same way. My wife is like, she gets some feedback. I say, well, unless someone is doing a podcast better than what I'm doing, and they know me personally and they give me advice, I'll take their advice. But if someone's not doing it and say, oh, well, you should do this, I'm like, well, what are you doing? If you're not doing that thing, then I can't take your advice, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's funny, and it's sad because everybody became a coach last year, and half the people that are coaching have never done what they're teaching people how to do, and people are actually getting paid for this. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, wow. I know a few people. They're like, well, I'm going to help you scale your business. I'm like, have you ever owned a business that did more than $500,000 in a year? No.
That's the first.
Have you ever owned a sales team that had 20, 30, 100 people on it? No. Have you ever spent more than $100,000 in advertising? No. And you're selling this to people? Like, I mean, cool on the short term, but that's a long-term ethical problem, So
that is, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Robert, talk to us about SysloVentures.com. Talk to us about that so my audience can know more about what you do and what that's about.
Yeah, sure. So we're a full-scale creative agency. We do marketing. We do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, Google ads. We do email marketing, e-commerce, website development, video production, coaching, training, branding, social media management. I mean, you name it, we probably do it. And we've got clients all around the world that we help. We got clients as far as Australia, South Africa, all across the US, Fortune 5,000 companies, mom and pop shops. I mean, we're able to we've built something very unique where I can help anybody. You can have somebody that's spending $300,000 a month in advertising, or somebody who only has $500 a month to spend in advertising. We help them. My job is really just to help people promote more and, help them realize you don't need a Ferrari or rent a Ferrari or have a jet or have millions of dollars to start advertising, a product that you have and start building a business. So everything that I tell people and do with people is what I do every day. So there's no disconnect there, but the company, we're doing really well. It's expanded, 7-figure business. It's awesome.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man. That's a blessing. I wish you the best with that, man. And hopefully this year, 21, you do better than any other time that you've done, bro.
But we're already double, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good.
We're
That's
going.
good. So if
Yeah.
someone wants to work with you, like what are the first steps? Like you do the coaching. I've seen on the website you do. There's you could do through Zoom and whatnot. What's the approach if someone wants to contact you, work with you, do some content
Yeah,
for you?
so I'm really flexible. I mean, if you message me on Facebook, on Instagram, the phone number's on the website, my phone number's on my Instagram, email,
And
everything.
I'm a witness, man. You're like you respond, bro. Like I write to
I
you
do.
and you respond. I love that about you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I respond to everybody. So if
Yeah,
you need help or you need some direction, you need some guidance, just reach out. I respond, and we'll figure out what we can do to help you immediately. Whatever that product is. Some people think I'm super expensive. I mean, in some cases I am. I won't lie, but in other cases, we have offerings that can get anybody in the door. So and that's the point. Like I need to graduate you up so that you can spend more with me, because if you can spend
exactly.
more with me, then you're making a lot more money.
And that's sad. I
Um,
mean, I know a lot of people because I have products too, and people look at it like people look at like if you're going to Walmart or you're shopping, it's not that, it's the value. Like what's the value of the content that you provide? That's what where I look at it. What you have, Robert Syslo with Syslo Ventures, you have a good content, man. You have a lot of value, and I'm gonna
Thank you.
what I'm gonna do is I told my wife I have to get my finances right because I want to do a work with you. Even have to go to South Florida and
Yeah,
meet you
come
in
on down to
person, do like
Miami.
an intro video. I want you to do that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's value, but it's also correcting mindsets. Like we work a lot with people that have a lot of false information about advertising, that
Yeah,
have tried other advertising avenues and it didn't work. And really most of the time, what most people don't understand is the sheer amount of volume and effort and time that it takes to get a brand to a point where it's working.
okay,
You're kind of misled into this world of, well, yeah, we just started running ads, it should immediately work. And it doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of energy from you. It takes a lot of energy, meaning money, to just continue to reach and show up with people, and having the patience to go through the process, right?
exactly.
I mean, because if you're landed into something really big all of a sudden, could you even handle that? So there's a natural progression, and I think people get a little overeager and don't understand the process.
Hmm.
And we do our best to really educate them before they sign up with us. It's like, look, this is what's going to happen, and here's how this is going to go. And I want you to we're fully transparent on that front, meaning we are telling them everything of how it's going to go. I meet
Right.
with every client once a week because communication is super important.
Okay.
So yeah, we're all involved, and all six of us over here are very involved in all of our clients.
That's good, man. That's good. Well, I wish you the best, man. Thank you for sharing that story, man. I did not know that about you, man. And your story. See, that's what I love, and that's what my audience. That's the reason why I came up with this podcast, because it's not just about who you are and what you do, but it's how you got there. Because everyone sees your website now. They see you now. I've seen your YouTube content and whatnot, but it's like, how did you get there? That's my interest. That's why I contacted you, and I
I mean,
appreciate that.
it was just persistence, and it was just being willing to suffer through each condition to get to the next one.
Right.
And just knowing that you'll get there as long as you just continue to do the same correct actions every day. And most people want to skip all that. But I mean, a lot of people didn't make it out of the COVID thing because they wanted fast. And you have to be
Yeah.
able to navigate whatever. Like, I don't worry about anything. If something happens, I'm like, all right, well, we're going to do it this way. So I don't really even talk about my story that much because it really doesn't have any bearing on today. And I don't use that as a crutch because it's really
Yeah.
relatively unimportant. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's there in the sense that it happened and I worked through that. This is where we are now. And look, I just, I don't go out. The only thing I spend money on are my cars. That's it. I don't spend money
I
on
see the
anything
car
else.
shows over there.
Yeah, yeah,
You go
yeah.
see some nice cars
Yeah.
out there.
But I don't go clubbing. I don't drink alcohol. I just don't do
Wow.
that. All my money goes into my mindset, my
Right.
business, my clients, and it's worked really well for me. When you get to a certain point and you're making like 20 grand a day or 30,000 a day, you're kind of like, yeah, I don't need to go to a club. I'm pretty happy right now. Like, who needs that?
Right.
It just gives you the ability to help more. Like last year, I donated 30% of my total profit from my business to my church for
Ah,
humanitarian campaigns and all of that stuff. So I'm big on donating. I'm big on helping in
awesome.
any way I can. Yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome, man. That's it, man. You made my day, brother. You made my week with that, man.
How about
That's
that?
awesome. Always giving back, man. That's important, man. That's why that's the blessing, man. Bless others, man. And I appreciate that, man. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Ro-
And look, people, it'll have its moments, but I've watched videos where people talk about business ownership and being an entrepreneur as being hard. Like they're like really laying into how hard it is. It wasn't really hard, to be honest with you. Was it hard? It did have hard moments. Yeah. But I
Yeah,
pretty much knew that anything could happen. So if it got hard, I wasn't surprised. And there's a difference. Like that's being causative over anything that could happen. And,
true.
if you're wanting to do something like that, start your own company or have your own company, like you signed up for it. Like you're going to roll with the punches, good and bad, you
Exactly.
know, you're fully accountable. So when people are like, oh man, entrepreneurship's hard. It's like, no, it's not. Like you signed up for it. If it was too hard, then go back and be an employee, or if you're an
Exactly.
employee and you're trying to break out, like do it ethically. Don't just leave your company high and dry, like leave them in a better condition than you arrived. Right.
Exactly.
So that's
Yep.
what I did. But anyway,
Cool.
yeah.
Wow, Robert, man. I appreciate it, brother, man. Listen, so they could follow you on YouTube, right? On the
Yep.
Robert Syslo,
Yep.
Facebook, Robert Syslo,
Robert Sislo
Instagram,
Jr. It's Robert Sislo Jr. all the way across the
Robert
board.
Syslo Jr. All right. So guys, hey, listen, follow this guy. Want to contact him? Like I said, he's available, man. It's not like a bunch of people that you see on this platform and you send them out and you don't hear from them because they're too busy. No, Robert will make time for you. He did it today. He's look at this. I have all 10 of my followers. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud to say it, but you gotta start somewhere, right? You
You
gotta start
do.
at zero.
Everybody starts at zero, man.
That's
Everybody
right,
starts at
man.
zero. It's just who's willing to persist through those low numbers to actually get what they want.
Yes.
And if you're willing to experience that, you'll be fine. It may be low for a few years. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like
Exactly.
that's no reason to stop. I know guys that are doing 300, $400 million a year and they're not on social media. So it's like,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, it's an extension of what you're doing. Get good at what you're doing, understand sales, deliver a great product, work on yourself, and be willing to experience the whole thing, and you'll be fine.
Exactly. Robert, man, I know time is value for you, man. I appreciate your time today, man, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to let you go because I know you got a lot of work, a lot of busy stuff to do, man. So, but thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it, man. I wish you the best.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, Robert, I'll keep following you, and I hope to see you sometime in the future, man.
All right, that sounds great, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Okay.
There you have it, guys, man. This is one fantastic moment for me. Another one in the books. My appreciation to Robert Syslo Jr. for all he does, man. So follow him, guys. You see the website there, www.sysloventures.com. Look him up. Look up the content. You're going to see all his information on there. And let me tell you, man, this guy is awesome, man. It's awesome. So once again, guys, thank you for joining this podcast. I'm going to see you guys next week on the same channel, the same podcast, as you already know. So also, thank you for the referrals. I got a referral last week from my dry mailbox. I went to Kissimmee, as you guys saw, and I put my mailbox down there in Kissimmee, someone who got me a referral. So please also, to my wife, we have our valuable, right, supplemental supplements, natural. So there's my website down there. Give us some support. This gold stuff. Oh my God, this bottle is already empty, but I got another one that my wife and I we enjoy. These products get our immune system strong. There's our website. Look up my information on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I thank you guys once again. There's the website to the dry mailbox. Pro Kevlock. You're gonna see us in the gun show next week. All right. So next Wednesday, I have another special guest. I'll give you some updates later during the week who it's going to be. So again, guys, thank you so much for your support. Share this content. Go ahead and share it. Comment below because you never know who could use his advice, his coaching. This guy's a great guy, man. This guy with such a busy schedule, he was able to make time today for me to have him on this show. The young entrepreneur mindset. podcast. Okay, guys. So thank you again, man. I appreciate it. And I just want to leave you guys with this word. As you already know, I thank God for this week. It's been a real busy, hectic week. I'm looking forward to a fantastic weekend with my family. I want to say to other mothers out there, happy Mother's Day this Sunday, this weekend. Every day is Mother's Day, right? Because the women that do everything, they're the mom, they're the wife, they're the friend, they're the businesswoman out there, those entrepreneur women out there. My salute to them, my honors to them. You guys are doing great things. Keep it up. Happy Mother's Day this weekend. And I just want to leave you with discouraging words from Romans 1:16. It says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes." So there it is, guys, man. I thank you so much for your support. Thank you again. I hope to see you guys on the next episode. It's going to be a great episode next week. So tune in to the channel, share the content, subscribe to my channel. God bless you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to leave you with that little video again because that video is awesome, man. Enjoy the video.
We do a lot.